Only his last changes worked. How Arteta's gambles finally paid off. Before we get into any tactical analysis of Arsenal's win over West Ham, we have to address the decision that saw the Hammers' stoppage time equaliser ruled out. Anyone who watches football regularly probably thinks the grappling we see at corners and set plays has gone too far this season. I think most people are up for punishing it more, because there does seem to be too many occasions where players get away with it. For Callum Wilson's 95th minute goal to be disallowed by the video assistant referee, VAR, because of exactly that kind of foul was ironic in many ways, because we've seen Mikel Arteta's side do that type of thing, unpunished, so often. So I know why only seeing the officials act now will frustrate a lot of people, because it is Arsenal who have benefited, but in isolation, it is the right decision. David Raya was being prevented from lifting his arm upwards by Pablo, and he was also having his shirt pulled from behind by Jean-Claire Todibo to stop him getting off the ground. In a way, there were two fouls there, so although it was a brilliant finish from Wilson, and also the kind of dramatic moment that all neutral fans love, the reality is that fair's fair, that is a foul, whoever you support, and wherever your allegiance lies. It was the right decision, and it also wasn't the only reason that Arsenal won that game. They got a bit of luck along the way, and there were also some big moments with Raya's save from Mateus Fernandes and Gabriel's block from Wilson, which led to that controversial corner. But the most credit has to go to Arteta. The life of any manager is that you don't always get your decisions right, but the mark of a good manager is if you try something and it's not working, then you take some risks, change it up, and do something else. Arteta did that. 3 times against West Ham he made a decision with his substitutes, and only the last changes he made came off, but that was what won him the game. His boldness, combined with Arsenal's formidable squad strength that we have spoken about many times in the past few months, meant they could take another big step towards the Premier League title. I get Rice at right back, but it didn't work. Arsenal started Sunday's game with exactly the sort of intent they needed in a game they had to win. They were pressing well, winning second balls, then passing forward and moving quickly. I was watching the game for Match of the Day, and straight away I thought they looked up for it. They were looking strong and created a few excellent early chances. After that, though, West Ham grew into the game, and the first change that Arteta made, bringing Martin Zubimendi on for the injured Ben White after 28 minutes, didn't work. I can understand why Arteta tried that, because when White went off, Arsenal were dominating the game. West Ham's wingbacks were pinned back, so Ricardo Calafiori and White were getting on the ball a lot in the Hammers half. Arteta probably thought Rice is so comfortable on the ball that he could leave him at right back, and Zubimendi is so technically gifted he is more than adequate to come into the middle of the park instead and dictate play. That way Rice could handle Crescencio Somerville athletically, and while he had another defender, Christian Mosquera, on the bench, Mosquera is much more of an out-and-out defender, and Arteta wanted to stay on the front foot. Of course, it didn't play out that way. Arsenal lost a bit of momentum, and West Ham had a couple of chances before the break. I guess it shows you how significant Rice is in the middle of the park. So Arteta changed it again at halftime, bringing Mosquera on at right back, moving Miles Lewis-Skelly to left back, and taking off Calafiori. That last part surprised me, because Calafiori was Arsenal's biggest goal threat in the first half, and he was getting in some great positions. Still, the change itself to bring Rice back into midfield was the right thing to do, and Arteta made it quickly. Bringing Odegaard on, another gamble. After halftime, Arsenal were no longer in any trouble defensively, but they couldn't really create any chances. They were probing, but they lacked ideas, and didn't look like they were going to score. Again, Arteta saw this, and again he changed things, bringing on Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz for Eberechi Eze and Zubimendi after 67 minutes. Then, with the score still 0-0, replacing Bukayo Saka with Noni Madueke with 10 minutes to go. So he subbed his substitute, which is always a brave move, and shortly afterwards also took off Saka, who had arguably been Arsenal's best attacking player up until that point. If Arsenal hadn't scored, then imagine the stick Arteta would have got for taking him and Eze off. It was another gamble, like the earlier changes were, but this time it worked. When Odegaard came on, he looked like he had a point to prove, and he lifted everything about the way Arsenal were playing. Odegaard has this great pressing ability, which he always does, that sets the tone for the whole team. But also, when he got the ball, his passing was crisp and brave. He started playing through West Ham's defensive line and hit a couple of great balls that got Arsenal in on goal. Then, when that magic moment comes where he's played a lovely little give and go with Rice and found space himself in the area, Did he have the calmness and awareness to wait and play the perfect pass for Leandro Trossard? Yes, of course he does.